right? So when you're thinking about outsourcing, for it to make sense, I don't think it can longer just be about reducing costs, right? That's not the right answer. It needs to be about finding the right people for your business and focusing on what matters most.
Welcome to another $4 million strategy, the best 4 months in business for strategy and tactics that you can apply to your business today. We have with us Mateo, CEO of Xseed. What he's going to talk to us about all the way from Uruguay is why you might consider outsourcing to help grow your business. Mateo, what are some best reasons why we should consider doing something like this?
Carl, thank you very much for having me on your show. This is very exciting. The question of why used to be answered with a notion about labor arbitrage, right? And cost savings. And I think that's not just the case anymore. We are now looking at expanding the talent pool and keeping your focus on your core business, right? So when you're thinking about outsourcing, for it to make sense, I don't think it can longer just be about reducing costs, right? That's not the right answer. It needs to be about finding the right people for your business and focusing on what matters most, right? And if you are having a hard time finding, for example, in the technology industry, right, and you need to build your product, you are around the A type company, you have the money that you need, and now you need to build your product very fast. But finding engineers is hard. Interviewing them, filtering them, managing those engineers can become hard as well. Replacing engineers as they leave your company can be hard as well. Well, that's a great time to think about outsourcing. And that's when companies like Xseed Solutions can come into the picture and really help you get that achieved, right? And once we figure out the why, we can start talking about the how, right? And so there are different ways you can go about it. But all of them, the key to all of them, in my personal opinion, is you need to have a leader on the ground, right? You are deciding a million things. You are deciding, okay, which countries, which regions am I going to be looking at? Do I need the same time zone? Can I afford to have a different time zone? What are my needs? But whatever place you decide to go in the world, you really need a local leader that is going to help you figure out the differences in culture, the differences in legal requirements, et cetera, right? And so I've seen and I've done captive centers, right? So the companies that is doing the outsourcing owns the captive center, but it's a different legal entity and it's run by someone on the ground, a leader that you can trust that is going to help you get the right people at the right time and put them on the right seats. I see you have the book Good to Great right behind you, and the right people on the bus and the right people on the right seats. And then you can work with a third party. And if you work with a third party, it's a similar thing. It's a different legal entity. You're going to have your risks covered on that basis, and you're getting someone that knows the local ground, the culture, the legal requirements, where to go find people, the universities, everything that you need to know to really excel and finding the right people. Yes, there are a million platforms out there. Yes, you could go and just search for people in LinkedIn, and maybe you're very good at it. And if you have that piece figured out, maybe you don't need an outsourcing partner. But for the most part, it's a struggle, right? It's a struggle, and it's interviewing so many people over and over and over and over. And I think that's where outsourcing can really help.
Yeah, at the end of the day, time is money. And, when we don't, speed kills in a good way. When you can actually move faster to product innovation, a recent guest we had on here got a product to market in 5 months. They wouldn't have been able to do it if they were doing everything, right? They outsourced a significant part of that whole process, got a product to market, and a whole new thing that they're doing in just 5 months. That's the amazing thing is when you outsource. Mateo, thank you so much for being on $4 million Strategies.
Thank you, Carl.